These kids today, what is wrong with these kids today? These kids today are just like we were, in love with their media, thinking it rebellious to listen to the new corporate product, to wear a media-created persona, to rebel as intended and predicted. New clothes for new generations, but still the same old scam. Civilization eats its young. We are products. So there you go, my first slam poetry on this channel. What is wrong with the kids? Well, what's wrong with the kids is you've left them with an impossible situation. They're supposed to survive in a collapsing economy. Why is the economy collapsing? Because you're still raping the planet with the same mentality that we have for thousands of years. And so getting a good job and making money depends on how well you rape the planet. If you're not helping rape the planet, you're not making lots of money. I refuse to believe that people who are bringing home six-figure salaries, no matter who they are actually doing anything to help anybody, except their corporate overlords. So, I'm one of these people where job titles and credentials and stuff don't impress me very much. The only thing that impresses me is the strength of an argument and the evidence that you have to support it. Behold, I send you out as sheep amongst the wolves. That is modern parents. That's what modern parents should tell their children, because that's exactly what they're doing. You're sending your child out into a world that you have zero control over, that you barely understand, and you're telling them to go be a good slave and make lots of money for the worst type of people that you could possibly imagine. And on top of that, you're going to sweep it all under the rug, and you're going to watch the Disney movies, and you're going to consume the entertainment, and you're going to take the drugs and drink the alcohol, and you're going to pretend everything's fine. So for generations, that's been going on. But you wonder why the kids are messed up. You wonder why the kids are messed up when it's generations upon generations of programming which have been suddenly accelerated thanks to what? Technology. Television is the most powerful brainwashing tool ever. They can put anything on television and make people believe it. They can put a serial killer rapist on television and people will defend them till the end of time. They're fans, these hardcore fans of someone they've never met because that person entertained them on the television or the movies. So it's the most powerful form of religion and brainwashing ever created. So everything that you see on the television is there to brainwash you and to lead you into a religious mentality, not a critical thinking mentality. But it just shows how essentially childish the elders in our society are, because they never do take responsibility. They never do grow up. They make fun of kids who are living in a world that they helped destroy, thoughtlessly buying up every product that they could, thoughtlessly having as many children as they felt like with people they didn't even know or like in many cases, thoughtlessly buying absolutely much products and stuff that you can buy with as much money as they have. Got to spend every penny on buying shit. So what is wrong with the kids? Everything that their parents taught them was a lie. And on some deep level, they resent their parents for that, and yet they're dependent upon them. In a world where they're increasingly getting squeezed as far as their wages, where people who go out with the mentality that you can go work for a living are throwing themselves on the mercy of ruthless people, absolutely ruthless people. That was demonstrated during COVID, when people were fired from their jobs for not wanting a shot. They're growing up in a world where the air is more polluted, the water is more polluted, there's less forests, there's more junk and microparticles, microplastics, forever chemicals, carcinogens, cancer rates through the sky. Look at all the kids who are getting cancer. You say, what's wrong with the kids? Well, they're getting cancer. That's what's wrong with them. Is it anyone's fault that they get childhood or young adult cancer? I mean, it's a symptom of everything that's wrong with our world when young people in their teens, 20s, or even younger are getting cancer, life-threatening or even life-ending cancer. What's wrong with the kids is that you brought them into a polluted world. And then you placed expectations upon them to succeed, quote unquote, succeed in that polluted world, which they must eventually conform to, or be dirt poor, unemployed, homeless. So that's what's wrong with the kids. They've got cancer. They got cancer in their hearts and their souls and their minds and their bodies because you brought them into a cancer-filled environment when you chose to have children on a dying planet. And now, of course, thanks to technology, they can be fed the most toxic form of media entertainment that has ever existed. The music that they consume, the cartoons that they consume as children. Have any of you watched this stuff? It's absolutely loaded with the sickness of this world. You got stuff that's geared toward infants that has like evil wizards and shit in it. Why does an infant need to know about an evil wizard? Why? And that's just the tip of the iceberg, and you know it. So these kids are being trained to be something that is self-destructive from a very young age. And I can vouch for it because I've seen it up close. My generation went through it, and now these generations are going through something even worse. When you look at the media that they're given as their culture, it's just absolute trash. There's no hope in it. There's no soul in it. All the soul has been stripped out of popular music. There is no soul left in any of it. It's all computer, soulless, dead music with computer voices. So that's what's wrong with the kids. You took everything that matters away from them. You took their homes away. You took their families away. You took their culture away. You took their health away so that you could make them into little products that you could control. So that's what's wrong with the kids. Institutional child abuse is what's wrong with the kids. But see, nobody wants to talk about that. Isn't it funny how all the things I want to talk about on my channel are all taboo subjects? Isn't that interesting? It's interesting when you realize that things are taboo, but they're not acknowledged as taboo. So what's wrong with the kids is they've been fed toxic culture from birth, through their cartoons, through the advertisements, through the products, the sugar products that they're given, the murder, death, kill dolls and toys we're given to play with. I mean, they absolutely love it, just like we loved gangster rap and, heavy metal and all that shit that our parents hated. So it's about engaging people's emotions, and once you do that, the intellect turns off and there's no way for any kind of debates to happen, and people are just religified. You're religified. Once you emotionally defend something and you will not listen to any critique of it, you are religified. And so music and entertainment have always been religion. Always. Particularly in modern times. It's just that people don't acknowledge that. Again, another taboo subject. We don't talk about what our entertainers are really telling us. It's something to be laughed off and joked about. Oh, it's just for entertainment. Oh, it's a gimmick to make a buck. Because people are in deep denial. So that's what's wrong with the kids. They're brought into a world where they're lied to by the people who should be protecting them. What's wrong with the kids is simply child abuse in all its forms. And the reason why child abuse will never stop and it will never be healed is because of institutional child abuse, the subject of my book, The School Survival Guide. How child abuse is institutionalized in order to turn people into products and slaves. And so now you know what's wrong with the kids. What's wrong with the kids? Their parents failed them, and their parents brought them into a system that's designed to exploit them, and never even bothered to tell them that. Just sent them out as sheep amongst the wolves. It's the Great Plague.